The Exogorth, better known as the Space Slug, redefines what it means to make a wrong turn in space. These ancient giants have mastered the art of patience, waiting in asteroid fields for decades, just hoping some unlucky pilot will mistake their cavernous mouth for a safe hiding spot. The Millennium Falcon crew learned this lesson the hard way in The Empire Strikes Back when they sought shelter from Imperial forces. These massive worms can swallow entire starships whole, and their digestive system is designed for the long game. Their stomach acid can dissolve metal over time, but here's the truly terrifying part. They prefer to keep their meals alive as long as possible. The creature that nearly consumed Han, Leia, and the gang was actually named Sando, and it had been living in that asteroid for who knows how long. Space slugs can grow to incredible lengths, some reaching over 900 meters, making them larger than most capital ships. They're not just predators, they're living traps that have turned patience into an art form. The Sando aqua monster. Imagine a shark that spends its free time at the gym, then multiply its size by 100. That's the Sando aqua monster, and it calls the lakes and oceans of Naboo home. This muscle-bound nightmare can reach up to 200 meters in length. That's longer than 2 football fields placed end to end. When Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Jar Jar Binks encountered one during their underwater journey, they witnessed raw aquatic power in its purest form. The Sando aqua monster actually saved their lives by devouring an even larger threat, which gave us one of Star Wars' most memorable quotes: "There's always a bigger fish." Well, this is the bigger fish. These creatures are the apex predators of Naboo's waters, with jaws powerful enough to crush submarines and speed that defies their massive size. Their muscular build isn't just for show. Every fiber of their being is designed for hunting and dominating their aquatic territory. The fact that Gungan cities exist in the same waters as these beasts shows just how brave or foolish the amphibious species really are. Rokkna. In Star Wars Resistance, we first meet a baby Rokkna that seems harmless enough. Nikuvozo adopts the little creature, names it Bibo, and it becomes quite the adorable pet. But when Mama Rokkna shows up looking for her offspring, the entire Colossus platform suddenly seems very small. This massive sea beast rivals the size of entire space stations, and its appearance immediately shifts the tone from cute family story to survival horror. With 4 glowing eyes that can spot threats from incredible distances and 6 powerful tentacles capable of crushing starships, the adult Rokkna represents the protective fury of nature itself. The creature's size is so immense that it can surface near the Colossus and completely dwarf the floating city. What makes the Rokkna particularly fascinating is its intelligence. This isn't a mindless beast, but a thinking creature capable of recognizing its offspring and showing both tenderness toward family and devastating power toward perceived threat. The encounter teaches us that in the Star Wars galaxy, even the most innocent pet adoption can have world-shaking consequences. The Wampa, Hoth gave Luke Skywalker his worst camping experience ever, and the Wampa was responsible. These white-furred giants are what happens when you cross a Yeti with a methodical serial killer. Standing over 2 meters tall, they're perfectly adapted to the frozen wasteland of Hoth, with thick fur that provides camouflage against the snow and ice. Their most distinctive features are their curved horns and razor-sharp claws, which they use to hunt and prepare their meals in the most disturbing way possible. Wampas don't just kill their prey, they have a ritualistic approach to dining that involves hanging victims upside down in their ice caves, keeping the meat fresh while they slowly consume their catch over time. Luke's encounter with one nearly ended his Jedi journey before it truly began. The creature's hunting method involves using the harsh Hoth weather to its advantage, striking during blizzards when visibility is near zero. Even with Jedi reflexes and his lightsaber, Luke barely escaped, losing a hand in the process. Most beings wouldn't be nearly so fortunate, which is why Hoth remains largely uninhabited despite its strategic value. Sometimes the most dangerous creatures are the ones that don't look threatening at first glance. Mynocks resemble space bats, but they're actually energy vampires that have adapted to survive in the vacuum of space. These silicon-based parasites feed on electrical energy, making them particularly dangerous to anyone traveling in starships. They attach themselves to vessel hulls and chew through power cables, potentially leaving crews stranded in the deadly emptiness of space. Han Solo made dispatching a Mynock look easy when one attached itself to the Millennium Falcon, but imagine dealing with an entire swarm of these creatures in the dark void between stars. They travel in groups and can overwhelm a ship's defenses through sheer numbers. The Mynocks also gave us one of Star Wars' best jump scares when one startled Princess Leia in the space slug's belly. Their silicon-based biology allows them to survive in environments environments that would kill most other life forms, and their leathery wings can propel them through space with surprising speed and agility. What makes them truly dangerous is their persistence. Once they've found a power source, they'll keep feeding until either they're destroyed or their host ship is completely drained. Tatooine hides the galaxy's most patient and powerful predator. The Krayt dragon is a serpentine nightmare that has mastered the art of underground hunting. These massive creatures burrow beneath the desert sands, and their movements alone can create earthquakes that shake entire settlements. The specimen that terrorized most Pelgo was so large and dangerous that it took a combined force, including Din Djarin, Cobb Vanth, an entire tribe of Tusken raiders, and the armed citizens of the town to bring it down. What makes Krayt dragons truly terrifying isn't just their size, it's their intelligence and patience. They can remain buried for years, sensing vibrations through the sand and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When they do attack, they emerge with devastating force, and their acidic breath can melt through almost any material. The dragon's hide is thick enough to deflect blaster fire, and its sheer mass can crush buildings. Krayt dragon pearls, formed in their gizzards, are among the most valuable substances in the galaxy, but the risks involved in obtaining them keep most hunters away. The fact that Tusken raiders consider them sacred creatures adds another layer of complexity to any encounter. The Geonosis execution arena introduced us to 3 terrifying beasts, but the Acklay stands out as the most nightmarish. This praying mantis-like creature is what happens when nature decides to weaponize an insect and scale it up to the size of a speeder bike. Its razor-sharp legs can slice through almost any material, and its chitinous exoskeleton provides natural armor and blaster bolt. The creature's most memorable feature might be its bone-chilling screeches, which haunted moviegoers when Attack of the Clones hit theaters. Watching Obi-Wan Kenobi dodge the Acklay's attacks was more intense than most lightsaber duels because this wasn't an opponent that could be reasoned with or converted to the light side. The creature designers studied actual praying mantises to create the Acklay's movements, which somehow made it even more unsettling to watch. These beasts are native to the planet Vendaxa, where they serve as apex predators in aquatic environments. Their adaptation to different environments shows remarkable evolutionary flexibility, and their presence in the Geonosis arena demonstrated the planet's commitment to creating the most horrifying execution methods possible. If you want to talk about a fate worse than death, the Sarlacc represents the ultimate nightmare. Jabba the Hutt kept one as his personal execution method in the Great Pit of Carkoon on Tatooine, and for good reason. This isn't just a creature that kills you, it's a living torture chamber that keeps victims alive while slowly digesting them over the course of 1,000 years. The Sarlacc's unique biology includes a powerful acid that breaks down organic material at an incredibly slow rate, ensuring maximum suffering for its prey. The creature's mouth is lined with multiple rows of teeth that angle inward, making escape nearly impossible when someone falls in. Its tentacles can grab victims and pull them deeper into its digestive chamber, where the real horror begins. The Sarlacc doesn't just consume its prey, it integrates their consciousness into its own, creating a collective of tortured minds trapped within the creature's body. Boba Fett's survival after falling into the Great Pit of Carkoon makes him even more legendary, considering that most beings would face a millennium of conscious digestion. The fact that Sarlaccs can live for thousands of years means they've accumulated countless victims over their lifespans, each one still aware and suffering within the creature's belly. Urban legends often feature monsters lurking in sewers and drainage systems, but in the Star Wars galaxy, these stories are absolutely true. The Dianoga is a one-eyed tentacle monster that lives in trash compactors, sewers, and any other wet, filthy environment throughout civilized space. Luke Skywalker's encounter with one in the Death Star's garbage chute was terrifying, precisely because the creature remained largely invisible, striking from the murky water like a living nightmare. These creatures are incredibly adaptable, able to survive in the most polluted environments where other life forms would quickly perish. They're omnivorous scavengers that feed on organic waste, but they're not above adding fresh meat to their diet when the opportunity presents itself. A Dianoga's tentacles are incredibly strong, capable of wrapping around a human like an anaconda and dragging them underwater to drown. Their single eye can see clearly in complete darkness, giving them a huge advantage in the shadowy environments they prefer. What makes them particularly unsettling is their intelligence. They're smart enough to remain hidden until the perfect moment to strike, and they understand basic mechanical systems well enough to manipulate them for hunting purposes. No Star Wars monster list could be complete without mentioning the Rancor, Jabba's pet that became an instant icon. Standing 5 meters tall with massive teeth, even bigger claws, and surprisingly surprising emotional depth, the Rancor represents the complexity of the galaxy's creatures. Yes, it's incredibly dangerous. Those claws can tear through durasteel and his bite can crush bones like twigs. But Rancors are also intelligent creatures capable of forming genuine emotional bonds with their keepers. The scene of the Rancor keeper weeping after Luke killed his pet showed audiences that these aren't mindless killing machines, they're thinking, feeling beings who happen to be incredibly dangerous. Rancors can be trained and even domesticated to some extent, as we saw in the Book of Boba Fett when one was used as a mount. Their intelligence makes them even more formidable opponents because they can learn from their experiences and adapt their hunting strategies. In the wild, Rancors are apex predators on Dathomir, where they've learned to work with the planet's force-sensitive witches. This relationship between Rancor and Ryder represents one of the most successful partnerships between human and creature in the Star Wars galaxy. Space itself isn't safe from monsters, and the Summa-verminoth proves this terrifying fact. This massive creature represents one of the largest life forms in the galaxy, surviving in the cold vacuum of space where most beings would die instantly. Looking like a nightmarish cross between an octopus and a jellyfish, it's covered in eyes and tentacles that can stretch across incredible distances. Han Solo encountered one during the infamous Kessel Run and only survived through incredibly risky flying in a conveniently placed gravity well. These ancient creatures are thought to be among the oldest life forms in the galaxy, possibly predating most star systems. Their ability to survive in space means they can travel between worlds, making them a threat to any ship that ventures into deep space. The Summa-verminoth's size is almost incomprehensible. Imagine being chased through space by something the size of a small moon with tentacles that can wrap around capital ships. Their feeding habits remain largely mysterious, but their massive size suggests they consume enormous amounts of energy. Some scientists theorize they feed on stellar radiation or cosmic particles, while others believe they might actually consume smaller spacecraft and space stations. The galaxy may be full of Jedi, Sith, and starships, but these creatures prove that nature, or whatever counts as nature in space, can be just as terrifying as any Dark Lord. From the depths of oceans to the emptiness of space, Star Wars monsters remind us that survival is never guaranteed when the unknown is waiting just around the corner. If you didn't see your favorite Star Wars monster on this list, stay tuned for part 2, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out more related content shown on screen.